Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Trendy with Kim Allison. Welcome, welcome, and thank you for tuning in and all who like, comment, subscribe, review, all the things. As you know, I appreciate you the most. Today's interview is with Jenna Caldwell, which I literally, if you watched last week's episode, you already know what her energy is and what she brings, which is just nothing less of amazing. In this part two, we're going to pick up where we left off, talking just the end of that hormone and hair conversation. We go in depth, honestly, on social media. She goes in depth with the Colorist Blueprint program and all that it has to offer. And I wanted to make a correction. I misread her during the episode because I am a straight Dumbo. I swear, when I listen to these episodes back, I'm like, Kim, you are literally, I can't with you. Anyway, she talks about the cost of the program, and she said if you DM her, you can get a coupon code or discount code that will give you a rate of $39 a month for the remainder of the year. I missed it. If you'll hear me, I'm like, you mean $39 for the year, the whole year? And she goes, yes. Of course not, Kim. $39 a month versus $49 a month if you don't have the discount code. I digress. Again, my mic issues continue because it was the same recording as last week. I apologize. I sound like I'm in a tunnel somewhere. And lastly, I attended a virtual social media marketing world conference over the last couple of days or so, and I'm going to tell you guys, I bought a virtual ticket versus going live and in person in San Diego. And I guess they're into their 10th year. I, I mean, keynote speakers are great. You do take tiny little nuggets from each, but you have these stages, like 5 different stages going on at the same time. You click into one, you click into the other. The time zone difference was a little confusing. Some are recorded to be listened to later. To me, it was kind of like a hot mess express, if I'm being honest. And in this episode with Jenna, I got so much more from our chat on social media, and all of the valuable tools that she gave, including how to go viral. I mean, she literally gave a step by step, which makes sense because she's actually doing it as we speak. So gosh, for my money, I mean, a little over $1,000 for this social media marketing world. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Have you ever been? If you have, let me know. If I'm just off base, let me know. Thank you guys for listening. If you like what I'm doing, please let me know in the comments. I really, really appreciate your feedback. Enjoy the episode.
Hey guys, my name is Jenna Caldwell. I am a fourth generation cosmetologist, an international hair color educator, and I am so excited to be talking to you today here on Trendy with Kim Allison. People don't realize, like, when your hair looks broken or looks damaged, it actually tells other people, and this is subconsciously, that's not even consciously, that you aren't like healthy or at peak success, like optimal body success. And so it's really interesting to see, like you were saying, the way that we're learning all of these things and these biohackers and everything that's, like, kind of coming into the world. A lot of people now are taking Nutrafol and things like that. And these are good things to talk about with your clients or have conversations about, because if somebody's taking Minoxidil, so it's not Nutrafol, but it's think like women's Rogaine or any type of hair growth foams that you would put directly on your scalp. When you bleach that, it's going to turn neon yellow. It's going to look like a highlighter. a marker. And so we need to be asking people if they're putting foam, minoxidil on their hair. That should be in everybody's consultation form, because we don't want any surprises when we pull those
What's the
photos
science
out.
behind that? Why is it turning it yellow?
Isn't that wild? I actually don't know the science behind why it turns yellow, but I mean, anytime there's a chemical formula, if you ever took even basic chemistry in high school, sometimes you mix one thing together with another, it can foam over, it can turn blue.
That's true.
Chlorine turns green.
What was the most surprising thing you learned when you began diving deep into the scientific side of color? Like what surprised you the
Oh,
most?
goodness. Oh, there's so many in there. I love the fact that permanent hair color is called permanent because once it gets inside the hair, right? So if you ever look at how a manufacturer says it takes 45 minutes for the color to process, right? We have to make sure that we use that full 45 minutes, because each 15-minute increment plays a crucial part in the process. So when you mix the color up and you put it in the hair, that first 15 minutes is the cuticle opening and the color getting inside the hair, right? This is a game of musical chairs. Once it gets in there, they're trying to attach to the DNA strands inside that hair. They attach to the lilophilic tails, which just means thick butt. So they just grab onto it, right? And then what they do next is they shift the melanin that you have in your hair. So it doesn't immediately start depositing color. We might have to be removing some of that color or adjusting some of that color, right? So that's the next 15 minutes. The last 15 minutes is them finally, they found where they are, they've removed the old color, and now they're swelling together. They're getting so big and so huge that they cannot fall out of the hair, because that conditioner is going to seal that cuticle shut. And then they're just huge and they can't fall out, which is why it's called permanent hair color. But it's
So
also why we're
when you start, sorry to interrupt, but I'm like all like, okay, if
no, you're good, you're good.
my old lady brain will forget.
No, you are good.
So when you start to see the color change, though,
Yes.
that just because color, I guess, is not, I guess, I know, is a reflection of light. So when your eyes see the color has changed, you can see it, it's oxidized, you can see brown hair now, for example,
Hmm.
or brunette, whatever.
Yeah.
And then that's when you want to rinse it off, as many people do, without allowing it to process the full 45 minutes. So maybe at minute 30, you're like, okay, great. Your gray is covered now.
Yeah.
Or, your tone has changed. So we can rinse it off.
And then
That
you rinse
was
it off.
you completely. So now what is actually happening when we do that?
Yeah, so what you're doing is you're actually rinsing that color out before it's grown and expanded to its full permanence. So you've robbed that person of the most crucial last 10, 15 minutes of the process, because we need that color to shift and mold and make itself a bigger molecule. That DNA strand is forever altered once that happens. But if you rinse it off when it's still here, then half of it could fall out of
So
the
it
hair.
was just getting going and you
Yeah.
kind of dimmed its light and it kind of just says it
Yeah.
just falls flat after that.
Yeah, so think about, it's not fully attached, it's not fully expanded. So when you rinse out, it could just fall right back out of the hair because it hasn't reached that stage of permanence yet. And it's also another, on the other end of that, why you want to mix it up and get it on the hair so quickly. So that one, that the video you were talking about earlier, where everyone was commenting underneath it, and I was saying, the
Yeah.
blue molecule's the biggest. If you're not getting it in the hair quickly and that blue molecule has already expanded, it's already coupled in the bowl because it took you 45 minutes to put the color on. Most companies, if you actually read the little paper that comes inside the box of color, they'll
Yeah.
tell you to get it on within 5 to 7 minutes or 7 to 10 minutes. That's the reason why. So if you take a really long time to put that on someone's hair, the coupling happened in the bowl. It didn't happen inside the hair. That's why your color doesn't stay as ashy. That's why your gray coverage isn't as good, because we have to make sure that we are getting it in there while it's still that white color before it starts changing.
What do you
Always
think
start
about
with the
the
port line.
what do you think about the translucent way that we're covering gray today? Do you think that's a good idea? Do you see, because that's a new trend?
You mean like the more like demi-permanents for
Yeah,
a
it's more
nice
just
grow out?
pure coverage so that
Yeah,
you don't get such a heavy line of demarcation. You don't
yeah,
have so much pigment in the hair
yeah,
that it looks like shoe polish against your gray,
yeah,
uh, roots that come in.
yeah. Oh, I love it. It's making me so much money right now. Oh, these men's gray blendings. Oh, girl, I'll tell you what. Do everybody listening to this, do not sleep on men's gray blending hair color. It is a $3 billion industry now.
Get
And
out.
men do not like to go into this, like, grocery store and walk down that aisle and stare at those boxes of color. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're picking up, but they know that their partners are getting Botox. They know their partners are looking younger, more youthful, and they're feeling left out. This is one way for us to include them back in the conversation because, like, we ease them in with demi-permanent hair color. We're not going to immediately start sticking needles in their face for them to match us. But I had noticed this, a lot of my male clients, or they weren't even my clients. It was, their fiance is my client. And then they all of a sudden are coming in and they're like, yeah, she just still looks like she's 30 and I'm 52. And like, I got to do something to keep up with her because I'm feeling like a grandpa. And so men want to feel good about themselves too. So we can't skimp on these kind of services. These demi permanents or gray blendings are all the rage. It's only going to get more and more popular. So
Well,
you want to be on that
with
fence.
Jeff Bezos walking around,
Yeah.
reversing time,
Yeah.
men, they measure themselves as well, right?
Yes.
To
Oh, of
other
course they
men
do.
that they look up to.
Yes.
Oh, so
Absolutely.
I always say I'm going to need Jeff Bezos. I'm going to need his, what do you call those doctors now? Where hormone doctor. I'm
Oh,
going to need his information and also Demi Moore's plastic surgeon. So I need
right,
both of those
right.
doctors in my contacts.
Oh my gosh, when she walked on that stage, my face almost fell off. I was like,
Like,
"Girl,
what is happening?
where
Like,
is
how
your
did
time machine?"
one? Did you
Uh,
see her movie, The Substance?
I didn't watch it. I'm
You
I'm not a
must.
scary movie girl.
It's not scary.
Okay, everybody told me it was a scary movie.
It's not. It's just
Okay.
gory. It's just gross, but it's
Oh,
not
just
scary. You know what I mean? Not scary at
yeah,
all. In fact, it's quite
yeah.
profound and speaks to kind of where we are today with aging and how
Oh,
women feel.
interesting.
So
Okay.
it's more about that than it is anything else.
Okay, well, good to know. Then I'll give it a shot then.
Yeah,
I'm an
yeah.
80-20 on reading versus watching. I'm not a big watcher.
Really? So
Yeah,
you like to read more than watch or watch more than read?
I love to read. I love to
You
read.
like to read.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not there's only very few things that I watch. But I will say this, like, competition reality television is my absolute jam. I have been trying out for Big Brother for years. And I mean,
You'd
it
be
is
perfect.
well, thank you.
You should go on
Are
Deal
you
or No.
hearing that? Are you hearing that, people?
Yeah, exactly. You should go on Deal or No Deal, The Island.
Oh,
You
okay.
be
I tried out for it last year.
really,
I did.
and
I didn't get a call back for it, but I have gotten a call back for Big Brother multiple times and for Survivor once too. But then I realized I couldn't get on I'm like, this alabaster skin cannot be on an island for that
you
many
know,
days.
it's well, anyway, back to what we
I know, right?
absolutely love in hair. Tell us now, just run wild with your new educational platform, the Blueprint of Hair. What is it?
The
Wait,
Colorist
the
Blueprint.
Colorist Blueprint.
Yeah, there's different educators for everything that people want to learn. And I've taken classes from as many people as I could possibly think of in this industry. And so I'm just happy to kind of now officially dip my toe in the water of doing it as my own brand instead of, at first I was under Aveda and then I taught for Lonza and then I became the director of education for Balmain. And then, yeah, about 3 months into that, I just, like, it was all I had wanted. It was what I was working for the whole time. I was like, I want to be the director. I want to be the director of a company. Um, and then, once I got it, I just kind of realized that I'm better working for myself. I'm a very structured person, And I don't like the structure of, teaching a 6-hour day and getting paid $300 for it. And I think that's a lot of where like my frustration was coming from, is that I couldn't get any of these companies to pay me more than what I would charge for a 2.5-hour balayage in the
Huh.
salon. So why am I driving to Dallas, which is 3 hours away, teaching a 6-hour class and driving home? That's a 12-hour day for $300.
Yeah. I
It's a
heard that they don't pay very well.
No, they don't. And the amount of money that they make is crazy. So I understand why all of these people have taken to social media, myself included, to say, "Hey, I'm going to do this on my own because I'm the one who creates the class. I'm the one who builds it." It's basically like a company will have a new color or a new product, and then they want you to teach around that, but they don't give you the entire curriculum. Like, they don't give you a PowerPoint and say, "Okay, now just go teach this." They're like, "Hey, add this into your class so we can sell it and make more money." And smart business model for them, but basically what it is you're spending, for me, I spend hundreds of hours building classes.
Yeah.
You get so much out of a class with me, that a lot of people have sent me a message and said, "I really wish that I could watch that back. There were so many nuggets in there that I just can't remember now." And I think when we were talking earlier, that's how like somebody might go home and be like, "I think she said that the red molecules the bit." I'm just gonna go online and start talking about it. And it's like, that's not what I said at all. I love that you were thinking of me, but like we don't repeat things unless we have, we double, triple check our work and make sure that we're being honest about the way we're delivering scientific information. And so I created the Colorist Blueprint because I always wanted that. I wanted to be able to watch something back after I took it. And I also, when I started working here in the city of Austin, I was making $9 an hour. And then it
Yeah.
went up to 10, and then it went up to 12. I mean, my rent was still $800 a month. I'm in a big city, so I couldn't even afford to buy food. I would steal toilet paper from the salon as an intern. I was broke. I moved here with 600
Broke
bucks.
people gonna do what broke people do.
We got to. And so once I had left Balmain and I decided, I was going to do this on my own, I sat down and I thought, what would I have needed coming out of school if I didn't have such a strong program? Because I was very fortunate to have such a strong program before I got onto the floor. You have to remember 95% of stylists don't get that. They get into an internship, and that internship is them just ripping foils and folding towels all day, every day.
Ain't that the truth?
And that's what happened to me when I was in California. I actually got an externship at Carlton, and it was in Irvine, California, which is like the richest county in the world.
Yeah.
And I remember I was literally just all day, every day, go rip those foils, go do this, go shampoo that, go fold those towels.
Hair. Mhm.
I didn't learn anything. I didn't learn
Right.
anything in the 6 months that I was there. And I thought, I'm literally just here to do grunt work. There's nothing about my degree in cosmetology that's being utilized when I'm just sitting here ripping your foils. And so I sat down and I thought, people really need the deep science. And that's why they take my classes, is because I'm science based. So if you ever take one of my classes, the first 3 hours is intense hair color
Now,
science.
is this an online course? Is this a do salon visits
I do
or
do I do do
okay.
in person. And so if salons want to reach out to me to see how that works, they can reach out to me. I know that I am teaching a couple classes over in the UK in September. I'm doing a big class in Rochester. Thank you. We're going to do that in the fall. So we're trying to get a bunch of educators together for this event we're trying to put on in Rochester in the fall, which I'm really excited about. But I recognize that a lot of people, I've had people reach out to me from India. I've had people reach out to me from Africa, and people say, we don't have access to this education. Can I take your classes if I don't live there? And I thought, yeah, it's not fair. And it's also not fair if it's a 1 6-hour day and it's $750, because if you're making $9 an hour, that's a percentage of your annual income. And
Absolutely.
so what I decided to do is I broke it up into, the first part is deep theory. So this is the theory blueprint. We go through hours of deep science of hair color. We go through over an hour of formulation. We talk about redhead mixing to prevent brownouts, to prevent hot roots. We talk about high lift colors. We talk about all the different kinds of persulfates we find in lighteners. We talk about why you lose your hair in chemistry. We go a deep dive into the thyroid, everything that you could possibly think of. I tried to cover in there, and I add new things as I think of them constantly or people ask me questions. And then the second module is the technical blueprint. So what we were talking about earlier, where I would sit down and I would do quadrants, I have them set up into drills. So each different part of the head, we have a different type of drill. And so you're going to be foiling or, backcombing in a different way, but you have to have it done in under 8 minutes for me to pass you out of it if you want to get a certification in color from the Colorist Blueprint. And so it's building your skills on top of giving you education. It's not just like, look at me painting this and look at how it came out. Oh, it's so beautiful. I used
I mean,
10 feet.
this look and learn business.
Yeah, it's cool and it's beautiful. And we can talk more about that when we move into social media. But the technical blueprint for me was, how do I get you guys hitting your times and how do I show you the techniques? Because once you get those techniques down, then you get to be creative. You can be as creative as you want, but you've got to learn the 6 different foiling techniques and you've got to learn how to get those timings of them down on the different quadrants of the hair. So the parting and everything like that is covered in there. And then the last part is the business blueprint. So now that you're formulating like a pro and you're hitting your times, we need high quality clients in your chair. And so we've got an email template in there for you to message businesses, and you can just plug and play your things into it. Hey, I'm in town. I'm a specialist of this. I would love to partner with your company, and you guys can get $25 off your first service. We talk about referral programs, and we talk a lot about selling without being salesy. I've always been one of the top retailers, no matter where I've worked.
Yeah.
And so I really believe in a way of selling that isn't salesy at all. It's just delivering the information of why you,
Yeah.
and people don't understand. Like they think, oh, I'm going to be pressuring somebody. If somebody tells you that they have frizzy hair and you have a product that's great for frizzy hair, you are doing them a disservice by not making them aware of it. Human beings,
You are so, I mean, we're cut from the same cloth. When I
yeah,
was at Tony and Guy, I was a top one, always in the top
yes,
3 for
yeah,
retail
that's because
sales.
you're an Aries.
Yeah, right. And so was my partner that we
Yes.
mentioned the
Oh,
company.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, good Lord, you watched my episode, you
Yes.
said, and
Yeah.
trying to leave, I didn't realize I
Yeah.
was indoctrined, like I was stuck here. I thought I was just here to learn and grow and to become
Yeah.
my own stylist. Boy,
Yeah.
was I wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had the exact same experience. After I had left to start my own business, and it was because my mother got sick. It wasn't because I wanted to leave. It was because I knew that I needed to make a ton of money very quickly, but I still needed to be able to take about 8 weeks off a year to go home and be with her because we only had a few good years left. And that's why I started my own business. And because I set it up, and I mean, I went from making $37,000 a year to $137,000 in 1 year. And so this whole platform that I designed is to help people do that. It's because I want to see your success. It's $588. You get the entire year, and you can do a payment plan of $49 a month. And if you're a student and you want it, you can send me a DM. I will give you a $200 off coupon, and that makes it around $30 a month for you guys. So
You
it's
said
accessible for everybody.
$588 a month or a
Yes.
year?
No, for the whole year.
For the year. Oh,
The
wow.
whole
No,
year.
that's
Yeah.
reasonable for, you hear that, newbies out there?
Basically, yeah, so it comes out to $49 a month if you don't have, like, a big lump sum and you just wanna pay monthly, you can go that way. And so, yeah, it's got everything you need. We sit down and we go through deep dives of even, like, money perception to not emotionally discount behind the chair, how to, just tell people about the products that are good for their hair, and, like, whether they buy it or not, that's none of your business. They're going up to the counter and they're checking out, but just delivering the information of why something is good for you or can help you. Like, human beings can be trusted to make good decisions for themselves when presented with the truth. If they have a problem and you have a solution, give it to them. That's an act of kindness. That's
Well,
not
it's
should
true,
ever happen.
And to parlay off of what you said, the flip side of that is, though, not being salesy, don't
Yeah.
sell them things they don't need either.
Yes,
Because when you do
exactly.
that, then you lose them forever.
Yeah, you don't wanna be pushy. You just deliver the information, and then, like I said, when they check out, they check out. And
Yeah,
so, I have always found success. I will always, make so much extra income because, like, you think selling retail is passive income. You're already doing the hours behind the chair. It's just extra money. It's
yeah,
basically free money. So you
yeah,
want to make sure that you're utilizing these things for success for your business because do the math on that. Even if you only sell $80 worth of product, times that by 45 days and
yeah.
go look at the
You're
numbers of that.
absolutely right. Do
It's
you
extra income.
do you think that your program, do you think this kind of education, I guess is what I'm trying to say, should be a core part of beauty school? Or do you think this is truly post education or
I
post?
kind of I tend to call it your bachelor's of cosmetology because
Okay.
we're definitely elevating. You absolutely need to learn the structures. I'm not going in there teaching aseptic technique and how to sterilize your tools and things like that because you already learned that. You don't need that from me. But what this is, I don't even like really do a lot of, the color theory of like red cancels out green. You should already know those things when you get onto the floor. I do reiterate them quickly throughout it, but I'm not sitting there giving you the basic stuff that's in Milady.
But
You
you
all
need
right, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's come on.
not my lady. Oh my gosh. I have her in my my garage cabinet.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
The images alone. Oh my.
right.
Jenna, can you walk us through a favorite moment or testimonial from a student so far that really just pulled at your heartstrings?
Oh yeah, I can. I had a client reach out to me when I announced the Colorist Blueprint, and
Mhm.
she sent me this big long message and she said, "I know that you don't remember me, but I took your class in College Station 7 years ago." And she said that sorry, I'm getting emotional. She said that she used it every single day and that I had completely changed her career behind the chair and the kind of money that she was making just from that one class with me. And her consultations have changed, and she's proud of how she charges and that she doesn't have to cut corners or have any type of weird feelings or emotional discounts because she took one of my classes 7 years ago. So
Huge.
I know. It was I mean, I read this while I was in Amsterdam, and I was just sitting on the bed just bawling, and my friend was like, "What's happening?" And I was like, "Oh my god." I'm like, even if it's true
And
and
that
stuff
makes
like that.
everything you're doing, that's the reward.
Yeah.
And
Even people who
anything
have
that
been in there,
and when
they're
you
like,
put things out there that have value and you get that in return,
"Yeah.
that's your why.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Even now, it's only been out for 2 weeks, but the feedback that I've gotten, everybody is like, "Oh my god, I'm an hour in, and that alone was worth the $500. This is crazy." And so people are just sending me messages left and right because, like, we don't teach the science of hair color and why we do the things that we do. And once you do that, you are gonna have these breakthrough moments. You are gonna have these full circle, "That's why that happens." And it's gonna change the way you formulate. It's gonna change the way you apply things, and I know for a fact, if you follow the blueprint and you watch it more than once, it's designed to be watched more than once. You wanna go in there, you wanna do these drills over and over and over again. If you hit your times and you follow, like, the business blueprint, then there's no way you're not gonna make 6 figures within the next year.
Now, is this a lifetime access or is it
It's a one-year access.
1 year?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
every year you have to renew to get
Yes.
this access.
Yeah. Well, but the idea of it is I don't need you to renew it. You should,
I see.
like you should take this year and you should apply these things and you should watch it and you should work on it and then fly my little birdies. You are,
Graduate from there. So yeah, it
yeah.
is like a bachelor's.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I
so
like that.
Yeah, if you want to stay in it, I'm going to be adding things all the time. And I'm always going to be reaching out to educators, asking them if they want to put something in there. And, then I can, if you have a course that you've built, I can say, hey, go check out this person's course, especially if you're a hair cutter or you do something different, or like relaxers or anything like that. That's not my wheelhouse. I'm not going to teach that because I'm not a specialist in that. And
Right.
so I'm going to outsource that from the best. So anybody who wants to teach that, and if you're out there and you're thinking, hey, I have a course I'd love to teach. And, I'm all about lifting everybody up because for me, I'm not a look at me girl. I'm a come with me girl. So if I can elevate you and every step I take up, I feel obligated to turn around and extend a hand and pull somebody up with me. And I genuinely believe that that's how I've amassed the success I do because I look at everything that way. It's like we all got to vibe higher together.
I love that. I'm the same way on this show. And I love and appreciate everyone who has come on the platform.
Yes.
I have some really fun guests coming up that I'm
Ooh.
excited about, and some collaborations. But
Cool.
it is mind blowing sometimes. Like my payment to you is to continue to support and educate, or support your platform and everything that you're doing, literally for the rest of my days on social media and as long as the show is
Oh,
alive.
thank
So
you. And likewise.
how I repay you for your time and efforts to be a guest on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I'm amazed, Balls, by all of the people I support and follow who
Yeah.
have been on this show, some that won't accept my invite to collaborate when I post their clips so I can capture some of their audience because I feel like I'm the
Yeah.
underdog. And
Yes.
so if you're a big, big, big dog, how is it going to hurt you to follow me? Like you won't even follow me back. So again, I'm not going to worry about that. But the Aries in me, I'm like, I see
No,
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
I feel the
you know,
exact same way. Again, that's a look at me girl, not a come with me girl. If it's like a, hey, I'll do this, but like I'm not gonna promote it if it directly aligns with what you do, because they could also absorb your audience. You have
that's
7,000
what,
followers. That's not a
right.
small amount of followers. Think about going into a room, everybody in here, if you have like 1,000 followers and you're like, that's not 1,000, that's not a lot.
Yep.
Imagine walking onto a stage with a
Yep.
1,000 people in the audience. That is a lot of people. Everybody tries to say, oh, the followers, the followers. Here's the thing. You could have 200,000 followers, but they're there because of your bikini pics. You don't really have followers. You just have
That's
lurkers,
true.
you
Because
know?
you can't convert them to anything.
Exactly.
That's why what I've learned, as we move into our social media conversation,
Yeah.
uh, but what I've learned is um, where my brain went, it had a glitch. Did you see that glitch? I was
I,
like, who am I? What's happening?
I'm rebooting. Give me a second.
But with if you can't convert that follower either to, especially if this is your business page,
Yeah.
into a client or a customer,
Yeah.
then who cares?
Yeah.
Because it's really not about the number of people who are following you, because we know today there are tricks to that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can buy followers, you can buy comments, you can buy likes, you can buy views. It's insane.
Oh, you're
But
gonna die when you hear my story. You're gonna die.
no matter how many followers you amass, okay,
Yeah.
what service are you giving yourself if they're not real people that
Yeah.
you can convert into real customers,
Yeah.
which is why you're on there. Because if you're
It's,
just on there to be seen and to be seen alone,
it's
what do you
narcissism.
get from that? I get nothing from that.
It's narcissism. It's just it. So talking about social media and moving into social media, if we may, if it's
Yeah,
time.
please do. Welcome.
Yes. So
Social
we want to remember that there's two different types of content creators, right? So there's going to be educational creators,
media.
and I consider myself an educational creator, or there's going
Yeah.
to be entertainers. So
Mm-hmm.
your entertainers are going to be the look at me outfit of the day. What did I eat? What did I, like get ready with me? And there is a little level of like, there's nothing wrong with it, but there is a little level of narcissism of just look at me, look at me, look at me all day long. And sometimes, yeah, you do get a lot of people come in for things like that, but are they necessarily the people that you want to be there? If you're constantly posting pictures of yourself like in a bikini or something like that, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. By the way, you all look adorable. I love seeing them. However, you are going to start shifting into attracting a clientele of men.
Right.
And sometimes things can start to get a little, if you're doing
Mm-hmm.
that, and it's not your intention, but anytime we have something where it's just look at me, that seems exhausting to me because then you have to constantly be coming up with like all of these things to like get.
Different ways to look at me.
Yeah,
And you get men even when you don't post pictures like that. So I can't
yeah,
even imagine
right.
whew, who you
And
get when you do.
yeah. But if you're an educator and say, and a lot of hairstylists seem to fall into the entertainer category where they want to show us, oh, I did this crazy, bleach, I'm wrapping foil around and shooting it up, and then all of a sudden you have this platinum white hair, and we're all like, that's not how that's
Yeah.
not real. That's not how that happened. But it's just entertainment. That's just I'm gonna do something as wild as I possibly can, or look at me, look at my work, but we're not learning anything, right? So
Right.
it's cool. That's bingeable content. That's just something you could sit there and watch it like cool, cool, cool. But like, what is there to engage on something like that other than to say that's not real? And when you go into
Yeah.
their comment section, it's thousands of this isn't real. So that's not to me quality content. But when you post something that you have fact checked, or hey, I did it this way, this is a new tip, I learned this tool, like this thing really helped me behind the chair, and you're giving us that type of content, that's
Yeah.
bingeable content that makes people follow. So you want to make sure, if you're posting authority content or educational content where you say, I am the person who knows about this, I am going to deliver you this information. Oftentimes, that's not really the stuff that goes viral, but it's just as important on your page, right? If you go look at my page, you'll see that like I'll have one thing go viral, then I'll have two or three things that don't really go viral. But the
Yeah.
things that don't go viral are the reason why people follow me. Virality brings them in. That content that they can consume, all of my education in between, is what makes them stay. So we want to
Ah,
make sure.
yeah.
Mhm.
Mm,
We live in a bingeable society, right? We
yes,
love to
you
scroll. We love to binge anything. So if you start creating content and you know that, first off, if you're going to create content and you do want it to go viral, trust me, you don't want to go viral all the time because it's exhausting. And like what happened on that post, at first, I don't know what the deal is with these algorithms because at first everybody's amazing and loving and thank you, this is it. And then all of a sudden, like two,
do.
3 days later, the snakes, the underbelly of Instagram just slithers in and they're like, "Heh, ugly, too dark, not real. That's a wig." Just the dumbest stuff.
I learned recently from because I love Patreon, and I actually do have a Patreon that I'm going to launch soon
Yeah.
to
Oh,
so
cool.
I can give people my real thoughts behind a paywall because I would
Yeah.
never say that publicly. But Jack, gosh, what is Jack's last name? Anyway, he's one of the co-creators of Patreon, and
Okay.
he did a live Q&A, an hour session the other day where you can just ask anything about Patreon, and they talked
Yeah.
about the algorithm and Patreon, and he had a couple of his top content creators on there as well. And they said that TikTok came in and changed social media,
Yeah.
changed the trajectory of social media in
Yeah.
that it used to be, he said, if you're wondering why you can't see your friends anymore, you can't see your favorite influencers
Yeah.
anymore, or at least the ones you started with,
Yeah.
um, and he said it's because when TikTok came in, they said, oh no, you don't have to do any of that anymore. We will bring people to you.
Yeah.
So instead of your outreach capturing people, it's
Yeah.
really the platform's community or audience or people are viewers they think need to see your content, it flipped. And
Yeah.
so now you, the content creator, you no longer have control over that, unfortunately. You could put out the best content, the most valuable content, and there'll be someone who's twice as bad as you with twice as many followers as you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
You
it's
know,
very true.
it's not, so that's when I was comforted after that,
Yeah.
conversation, because I said, yeah, none of this matters. You just get on there, post what you want to post. It's your page,
Yeah.
period. Just do it. Don't,
Yeah.
because it's about the shares. It's about the it's not about the likes anymore. It's about how many times do they send this video to somebody else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And views.
Yep.
That matters.
It really does matter. So these algorithms prioritize watch time. And how
Mhm.
it works now is if you put something out, it is going to show it to 50 people who do not follow you. It is just
Yeah.
going to put it out there to 50 people. If they watch it over the 5 second mark, we always talk about the 3 second mark, but if you can make it to the 5 second mark, it's going to show it to 500 people. If those 500 people, then it's going to go to 1,000, then 5,000. And so you'll actually know if you have a piece of viral content in under 10 minutes of posting it. That's
That's right.
why Instagram and TikTok have a delete and re-edit within that first 30 minutes of posting something, because if it hasn't taken off and you want it to be viral content, you need to change the hook at the beginning. The hook is everything. It does not matter how good your content is if the first 3 seconds don't keep people in, because they're not even going to see it. We see 2 seconds and we go boop, boop. No, I don't care about this. Boop. So what you have to do is find a way, and you'll notice with some of my content, and if you want to create viral content, I'm going to give you guys a little tip. I want you to go find your 10 favorite stylists in your niche. So, if you're a hair cutter, not me, right? Like if you're, whatever you're doing, you want to find people in that niche. Then you are going to go find their 5 most viral pieces of content. You're going to save them all together and name it, virality or learning or whatever you want. Now you have 50 pieces of content to study that have hundreds of millions of views. So what you're going to do is go in there and say like, "Oh, at what point did it change?" Like you'll notice in mine, one of the ones that went really viral was, it said, "I have a bone to pick with hairstylist who, and while I'm doing that, I'm cleaning off somebody's hairline." So we love to see a loop closed as a human being. They want to know, what bone do I have to pick with people? They
That's
want to see what that color looks like at the end. And then I throw in the nugget about the perm paper. Now I've delivered a piece of education, but I do that second by second. If you give them the payoff 15 seconds into a 35-second video, they're going to leave at 15 seconds. They're not going to watch the whole thing, right?
true. True.
We want to make sure that we're doing something really engaging. And a lot of times, a good thing to do is like, on the other one that I went viral where I said, "I hate to break it to you, sis, but hair color is always going to turn warm." And then I switched and I said, "Let's go to the whiteboard because I want to give you a little visual. I've split the screen and I've changed what you're looking at." So you're going, "Wow, wow." And it's visually pulling you in because I've split. So now you want to hear what I say at first, but then you want to hear those extra 3 seconds. And now I'm at the 7 second mark and I've got you in. So you want to make sure, and you don't have to do this for all of them. Like you said, just put your shit out there. Whatever you want
Yeah.
to talk about, whatever your thing is, put it out there. But concentrate, I would say, once a week or every other week on trying to create one piece of viral content that brings people in, right? And then they get to see all of your stuff and they're like, "Oh, there's a lot of goodies to binge in here. I'm going to stay." And that's when they
You
click
know what? You just inspired me. I'm going to add this definitely to my toolbox. And it sounds like
yes,
you educated yourself on
right.
social media, which is great. That's probably why
Yes.
you do so well, right?
Well, I only started this about 6 months ago. So I was doing an influencer's hair. Yeah, get a lot of this. I was doing an influencer's hair, and she had told me that she would train me for social media management. And this was back in 2018. I had no idea what I was doing. And so I was doing her hair. And then all of the sudden, after I did her hair, I would get a batch of like 300 followers, 400 followers. And I was like, "Oh, cool. Look at this. Like I'm growing. But then I had noticed I'd gotten up to like 8 or 9,000 followers. And I was like, "Wait, why is when I post something, I only get 3 likes?" So then
Yeah,
I
yeah.
messaged her and I was like, I have all these followers, but I don't have likes. And she'd be like, oh my gosh, let me get in there, see if I can finagle it. Let's delete it and repost it, but we'll wait and post it at 10 a.m. And then all of a sudden it would have 500 likes on it. Because I was so new to social media, because I did not know Instagram at all. I just joined in 2017. I didn't know that she was paying for people. So
Oh my God, it goes back that far.
she was paying for bots from Russia and Iran to follow me, and she was paying like $11.99 a month for me to get these followers. So I caught it when I had 16,000 followers, right? So I have been shadow banned now from 2018 until last July.
Are you kidding me?
I had no idea what was going on, but now Instagram has a little thing where you can click and ask them to audit your social media and see what's wrong, to see if like you're shadow banned for a certain reason. And when they sent me the thing back, out of those 16,000 followers, only 5,000 of them were actually mine. The
Are
rest
you
of them were
kidding?
bots, and half of
Oh,
them, yeah, were flagged on lists that were like helping with like political nonsense and stuff. So it looked like I was like hosting Russian bots that were trying to like mess with our elections.
mind blowing.
Yeah. So then they said, if you give us the permission to clear all of these out, then you will be removed from shadow ban. So I gave them the permission, and I went from 16,000 to 5,000 followers, and I wanted to vomit. And I thought, oh my gosh, everyone's
But
gonna know.
your 5,000
Everyone's gonna know.
are real people though. So that's
Yeah.
probably better, right?
Well, and then all of the sudden, now that I'm posting and taking this seriously, I post something and it goes mega viral. And then I post another thing that goes mega viral, and I post again. And so now, in the span of under 6 months, I have 42,000 followers.
That's insane.
So this was not a slow build. This just happened in the last 6 months, that I learned this system of how to go viral and how to promote myself.
Oh my gosh, this is so valuable. I'm so
Yes.
excited for
So
myself.
everybody who's listening, do not be discouraged. Do not feel like, oh, I have to start over again. Oh, I have to delete all of this. Go in there, get an audit done. Make sure you clear all the junk out of there, all the bot followers if you ever paid for them, or start over again, because you can grow very quickly. Instagram prioritizes brand new accounts. So if you feel like you did too much stuff, or maybe your account is completely off of, like, you were cooking and now you want to have a hair account,
That's what I
start over.
feel. I feel I started one way and now I'm shifting into the show and I
Yeah.
even changed the name. I feel like I need to honestly go and do something like that and just kind of blow the house down and rebuild.
You can absolutely do that if you take it seriously. And I'll tell you what, you don't have to post 3 times a day, 5 times a week, all that crazy stuff. I post twice, or maybe 3 times a week. I am
Okay.
not on there all day, every day, but my content is quality that I
That's
deliver.
good.
I
I
make sure that that hook pulls you in, that you need to hear what I'm about to say. I cut all the gaps, all the spaces out. Even a half-second gap will get somebody to scroll away. So you
What's
need
your
to absorb
favorite
it.
tool to use for your editing?
I edit with CapCut. I
Okay.
started
So
with
you
TikTok.
cut out all the
Yeah.
gaps in CapCut?
Yes. So you sit there and, like, I mean, even if I have a pause and I start talking again, I would cut that small piece out of there.
Yeah, because they don't last. They have a
No,
short attention span. People do.
everybody's got ADD these days, especially
Yeah.
on media, because we're consuming it so quickly. So if we see something where somebody's talking slow or trying to, we're going to scroll. We're going to be done with that. So you need to bring me in with something, and you'll start to notice it now. So if you guys start paying attention to anything that you see, if it goes viral, I want you to watch it more than one time. I want you to pay attention. Where does the hook start? Where does it end? Count the seconds of that. Do they move to a different screen? Do they go up? Do they go down? Do they come in left, right? You can recreate that, but put your own spin on it. And so
Right.
you'll start to notice with creators in our industry too, like, a lot of us have hooks. And if you have a hook that works and goes viral, keep using it if it's a
Right.
healthy hook. I did notice that I have a bone to pick with hair educators who was starting to get a little unpopular with some hair
Yeah.
educators,
Yeah.
And I was like, dang it, I found this amazing hook, but it actually is like kind of a dig at my favorite humans, so I can't keep using it. And so
Right. Right.
I had to keep pivoting, but you're going to have to keep pivoting as it keeps changing. It's going to keep
Right.
evolving. We're going to evolve with it. But I promise you, once you get a rhythm and you find out, like, oh, that went viral, recreate it. Find your seconds where you switch to something else. Find out what you did that pulled them in, and make sure that you start with a loop that you can close at the end and give deliverables in the middle. You know, you want to just give them little sprinkles, little nuggets, and learn how to talk a little bit faster like I am now, and eradicate words like, and but from your vocabulary. Which is
Yeah.
so funny. Like a few years ago, I made it far in the process of Big Brother, and I really thought I was going to get on the show. And it was funny how many videos I had to record and send to them, because after COVID, they don't do things in person anymore. It's just sending in your video and then they talk to you like this. Um,
Oh,
yeah. And it was really interesting because I was so devastated when I didn't get it. But I realized how much it set me up for success with the Colorist Blueprint, because having to make and edit videos over and over and over
yeah.
again, even though I
Yeah.
didn't get it, even though I didn't get it, I developed such a valuable skill. I
Yeah.
think to be able to speak eloquently and fluently quickly is invaluable to your consumers.
I agree. And all of that, Jenna, was great information. I got more than I bargained for.
Oh,
I
that
love
makes
it.
me so
I
happy.
can't
That makes
wait
me so
to
happy.
share this with the world. It's going to be so awesome.
Yes,
And unfortunately, we're out of time
we
because
went way over.
literally, I think you're going to have to come back. That's
Oh,
what
I'm happy to come back anytime.
we're going to have to just come
Yeah.
up with new topics and continue our discussion, because
Oh, yeah.
we didn't even get to tap on reality TV. I'm sure if you like to read, true crime might be in there. I don't know.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I like to be scared, but I do.
No, I
Apparently.
love epics. I like to read the epics. I'm a big,
Ah,
you know,
perfect.
the Lord of the Rings and the Harry Potters
Oh,
and
I
the,
see.
Throne of
Mhm.
Glass, all the Game of Thrones, all that stuff. I love that kind of
More of a
stuff.
rom-com myself.
Okay,
But
yeah.
let's get into some fun before I let you go,
Yeah.
because if you watched any of my other episodes, not the one I did, but I do a 60-second blowout, I call it, at the end of each episode. It's a
Okay.
rapid fire.
Okay.
So you are probably going to be really good at this
Oh God.
because you know how to flow, talk fast, you think very quickly. So I'm going to set a 60-second timer,
Okay.
and we'll do our rapid fire and conclude.
Okay. How does it work?
All right. So I will let you know when I read that first question. I'm not even going to put the timer on the screen like I
Okay.
normally do, because I feel like for post editing,
Yeah.
it makes us really, really small, and then the
Okay.
timer is really, really big.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave us up and
Okay.
then set it on my phone.
Okay.
You'll hear it when it dings.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. And when I start asking, then you answer.
Okay.
Okay. Foils or balayage?
Foils.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
One blondie myth you wish would die.
Shadow root. Ah.
Favorite way to unwind after a long day?
Book.
What's your go-to bond builder or treatment?
Ooh, a prey.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
What's a hair trend you're currently loving?
Healthy hair.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
What's your favorite hair era? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Ooh, 70s. I love a Farrah Fawcett.
One product you always recommend to clients?
Texture spray.
What's your guilty pleasure TV show or movie?
Big Brother, hands down.
There it is. All righty. And to show my guest how humble you are, make your silliest selfie face.
My silliest. Oh gosh, you guys know me. I'm always like, I do them all.
I love it. That was great. And you were amazing today.
Oh, thank you so much.
Giving me your time.
Yes.
Where can everybody find you?
You can find me at Jenna M. Caldwell on all the platforms. I have that pretty much coined everywhere. One word straight, Jenna M. Caldwell. Oh.
Okay, I love it. Until we meet again, which I am sure will be sometime soon. And to remind everyone, sign up for Jenna's educational platform, the
Colorist Blueprint.
Perfect.
Thank
All right,
you so
until
much.
next time, we will talk soon. Bye.
Awesome. Bye.